Body paragraph 2 is all about your character's view of the setting. So how does your character view the island? How does your character view the house on the island, the atmosphere of the island, just all focused on setting and your character's view of the setting. So I'm not going to use the presentation I used in the previous video, but just keep in mind this presentation does exist and you can use it for every single video, or every single paragraph rather, I'm sorry, when you are writing. So keep that in mind. There are tips, there are examples, there are words to use, and so forth. But I'm just going to stick on the essay organizer because I already went over the video or the presentation in the previous video. So the first thing you're going to have here to start your second body paragraph is a linking topic sentence. So remember, in linking topic sentences, you review what you just talked about and then you introduce the next topic. So I've given you a sentence starter, they'll fill in the blank. If you don't want to use this, you don't have to, but if you want to, please use mine. So it says, in addition to his view of himself, right? So you are reviewing what you just talked about. Character's name, fill in your character's name, Rainsford or Zaroff, also has a point of view on, and then you need to introduce the topic of this paragraph. Also has a point of view on the setting, the island, the house on the island, whatever you want to say there. Then you'll have your setup sentence, so you are introducing what you are talking about first. And so first we are talking about your character's view at the beginning of the story. So at the beginning of the story, he views the setting as, finish this, however you want to finish that sentence. Then you will jump into your first data point. So go back and use that chart, go back to that presentation and use the example and kind of try to make sure that you have all the parts that you need, but your data point is simply what happened in the story. So what's a moment in the story where something happened that showed your character's view of the setting? This should be easy because you should just go to your chart and transfer that information here. You might not be able to copy and paste from your chart, keep that in mind depending on how you word things, but you can copy the ideas. Then you will have your warrant. So based on your data above, how does your character view the setting at the beginning of the story? So you could say Rainsford views the setting as safe because, and then explain how he was going to drown, but basically finding the island, the setting, it saved him. If you pick Zaroff, you could talk about how much he loves the setting at the beginning because it's allowed him to create this world where he can basically murder people and get away with it. So make sure you have the two parts. How does your character view the setting at the beginning? And an explanation of like why that setting or why that viewpoint makes sense. How does your data prove this is your character's viewpoint? And again, use that presentation to assist you. Then you have a transition. So transition to the middle of the story. Later in the story, next, in the middle of the story, however you want to say it. Then you kind of repeat that steps. Data 2 and warrant 2 are for the middle of the story. How does your character's viewpoint change? Or maybe your character's viewpoint on the setting doesn't change. Just give another example and explain to me that Zaroff still loves the island. Another transition. And then the end of the story. How does that come into play? How does your character view the setting at the end of the story? And then your finishing line, just summarize this paragraph and did your character's perspective on the setting change at all? And if it didn't, that's totally fine. Biggest tips for this paragraph are just really make sure that you are focused on setting, the island, the house, like all things that have to do with setting, and make sure that your data point is strictly what happened in the story. Don't analyze, don't add your own perspective, don't even say what your character's viewpoint is. Just this is what happened in the story, and then your warrant is where you explain. So that is your body paragraph 2, view of the setting. Use this presentation to assist you and get that body paragraph 2 on the setting done.